come back.
And it's not saying giving us
Yeah, it's
names,
not giving us names. That's why I think.
Ooh. Well, we have to try and guess now.
I know. So I think.
So all we're getting, guys, is we're getting is Facebook user. So you're going to have to either identify yourself in your comments, or we're just going to not know who you are.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, we're desperately trying to get the technology to work with us today. But hang on, I think the names are coming back. So there's Darren Hall.
Yeah, we got Darren's the first one.
I think we did have some initial sort of techie glitches.
There we go,
David.
There we go. Hurrah, hurrah.
My mouth's gone dry because of the stress.
It was very stressful for a moment.
Yeah.
But now
we're still getting Facebook users. Yeah, it's really strange. Parisha Patel, how's it going? Marky V, Bri, Dave Cliff. So yeah,
if we don't name check you, don't be offended. It's because the tech isn't showing us your name.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that might be because see Jerome here. See, it's coming up with some people's names and some people without. So. And we'll persevere, but I don't. Hopefully, this will correct itself at some point. It does seem to be a little bit of a Facebook glitch that the names are coming through as Facebook user instead of who you are. But you are a Facebook user anyway.
Yeah, we'll watch it on there. Look, that gives us all the names. It's because I'm streaming from Andy, I think, not from Everest.
Yeah, I will have to kind of figure out why that's happened.
Don't worry.
Yeah, awesome.
All fine.
Anyway, welcome to today's Tuesday Tune-In.
Here's Gavin, the winner of the Evertrek quiz.
Oh yeah,
Your T-shirts should be winging their way to you, Gavin. They were ordered yesterday, so they should be on their way. And I need to get water bottles in the post to you, or water bottle in the post to you today as well. I will get that done.
I mainly remember him for his dog bow.
The dog was very nice.
Yeah.
We can put some dog treats in, can't we?
Yeah.
We'll put some gravy bones in.
We will put some gravy bones in there for you. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, it does see Evertrek is now live, and I think we're going live as Andy into the group, which might be a new thing, which I think is why maybe if you're watching this through the group, maybe that's why it says Facebook user. Anyway, hi Diane, hi Dave Rimington, all the way from the USA. What are you doing in the USA, mate? Hang on a minute. Did I see Leah the other day with like a remora fish stuck to her arm?
I don't understand any of that sentence.
A remora fish is one of the ones that they stick to sharks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I don't know about that.
Awesome.
We definitely can blame Andy for being away and putting a gremlin in the system. I think that's just given that we're blaming Andy.
I'm pretty certain it's we'll go with this Andy because he's probably he's not here.
He's not here.
He's traveling, and I think to myself, well, if he's not here and stuff has gone wrong,
it's the first rule: you blame the person that's not
here. Yeah, it's not the person who's left. Standard. It's not my fault. But anyway, welcome to today's Tuesday Tune-In, everybody. So as you can tell, I've upgraded Andy to a far more pleasant person. This is Fee. So yeah, we're going to talk today about. I think it was initially started off in the group as Baggate.
Baggate.
About Baggate. Oh no, I think Baggate might be slightly different. That was about whether or not we bring our own bags. Anyway, it's new Baggate. We're going to talk about sort of weight limits, packing, what you need, essentials, why there are weight limits and why they're important, little sneaky ways to kind of get around them, whilst also, kind of playing by the rules. We like to bend the rules when it comes
to... not break.
Yeah, exactly. Because the rules are there for a reason, which we'll get into about why there are weight limits. I'm specifically thinking about the Lukla flight and things like that. It's quite important that they are, adhered to. But that doesn't mean that we can't find a way to kind of bring everything that we need. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, any questions or anything like that you want to fire through, please do. Yeah. I think, is it Jody?
Jody is on the Running Yeti is on the queues.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is there.
Awesome. So, Baggate. Weigh in.
How do you get all your stuff under the weight limit? The particular one Baggate was for, I think, was EBC, wasn't it? So that one is a 15k weight limit.
15k limit, yeah.
For the Lukla flight. So how on earth do you pack everything in 15k?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I'll be honest, it's tricky. And there's no way that I found of doing it that you aren't slightly over. But this is because you're going to be wearing a lot of the stuff that you're going to be taking to the mountains as well. They weigh the bags, not you. And I think the 15k limit is there knowing that a few people will go slightly over, knowing that some
people might go slightly under.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll even out.
And we all weigh different as well, as individuals. This is a demonstration of such in here. you know.
News.
Exactly, yeah. But they take it into account, they take it into account. Pia, tell you what, I'm going to angle that down a bit.
Okay, you're getting blasted in the face from
it's just dry.
The air conditioning.
It's dry in my eyes.
The high-tech air conditioning / USB fan that's on the desk.
Yeah. So Shona's saying, no, don't talk about Baggate. Yeah, Baggate was, that was a fun time. What was that about? I think that was someone asking, why don't we send the duffel bags you get on a Nepal trip, why don't we send them ahead of people traveling to Nepal?
You never want to be separated from your luggage.
No.
You always want your luggage to be on the same flight as you are.
Exactly. And also, the bags are made in Nepal, so we get everything over there, manufactured, so we're giving back to the local suppliers and things like that. And it's a nice little surprise. There's a little bit less weight in your suitcase, for when you travel there. Also gives you a second bag to fill stuff with on the way back if you need to, because you get to keep it. But I see Shona saying.
I was just saying, someone managed it with about 10k.
Yeah.
It can be done. It can be done.
It can be done. The first time I ever went there, my entire setup, like everything I brought, was around 19k. That was everything I left the UK with.
Yeah.
So when I went out there, I think I was about 13, 14.
And you did that trek you were saying this morning with just one set of trekking trousers.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Not intentionally.
Yeah.
But still, proves it can be done.
Yeah, I wanted to travel light. So instead of packing, what I normally do now is at least sort of 2 pairs every day, and I alternate. I thought, well, I'll bring 2, but I'll bring a lightweight pair and a really warm insulated pair. And the weather was not cold.
No.
So I had no use for the hot insulated ones, couldn't wear them throughout the day, which left me with 1 pair of trekking trousers that I wore for 11 days straight.
But you did the job.
Yeah, it did the job. It was remarkable. I tried to wash them back in the hotel by just putting them in the sink.
Away?
No, I put them in the sink and I just turned the tap on, and the colour of the water was not pleasant. There was literal grit in the sink that was just ingrained into my trousers. But that was fun. But
we're already getting a tip from Bri of how to reduce your weight on the Lukla flight.
Buy all your sticky bars when you land in Lukla. Yeah, absolutely.
Snacks in Lukla.
Yeah. Well, there's loads of snacks in Lukla, Namche. Most of the tea houses on the way up, you can buy Mars bars and things like that. So it does all kind of work out in the end.
Yeah.
I found that, so let's start with Lukla, shall we, which is the most popular one. Because I remember me and Fee were talking about it a while ago when we were talking about, like, well, how do you do it? And it is tricky, and there's no sort of one way for me to say, this is how you get your bag below 15 kgs. However, 15 kgs is more than enough, I promise you. People go there and they pack their bags with just an insane amount of gear for 11 days, when in reality, you're not changing your clothes every day. You really just don't. You'll wear the same pair, like 2 pairs of trousers is more than enough for 11 days. 1 fleece is more than enough. You don't need to bring 2. A lot of people do. Some people have like a down jacket, then they'll have like a down body warmer gilet thing, then they'll have a wind stopper, then they'll have like a waterproof jacket. You really don't need it all. Get rid of the wind stopper, keep you waterproof, get rid of the gilet, bring your down jacket. There are lots of little things that you can kind of do like that, so being ruthless does really work. The other thing is they weigh your bags, not you. So I've seen quite a few people with those photographer's vests on, with lots of pockets.
Yeah, nice.
And they stuff those full of battery packs and things like that.
All your heavy stuff, yeah.
Yeah. One person I know was about 2 kilos overweight because they'd filled up their water bladder in the morning and put their bag on top, and it was 2 kilos over.
Don't need to take water.
Don't need to take water for you. Fill it up in Lukla, absolutely fine. And it is kind of important to keep, so the weight limit's there for safety purposes. So the flight has an overall weight limit. If it's over that weight limit, it's not allowed to fly. So if they allow too many heavy bags on, what happens is the pilot says, we're over the weight limit, offload some of the bags. And they'll go straight to the heaviest bags and get them off.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather get off, say, 2 or 3 heavy ones than 5 or 6, just regular ones. So the people that went over, they come off. It's quite rare that it happens, but it has happened on at least 2 occasions when I've been out there, and it's just a little bit of a panic. So you arrive in Lukla, or in the case when I was there, it was back in Ramachap, and everyone's there looking for their bags at the end once they're offloaded, and then you're that person that stood there staring into the blank bit of concrete where your bag should be, and you just have that, everything's in there.
Your life is in that bag at that moment.
Exactly. And then it's a bit of a panic, and we need to contact the team back in Lukla and get them to go back down, get hold of the bag, and then try and get it on a flight where it's not going to be offloaded. So in order to avoid that happening, we do say really be ruthless and really do try and stick to the weight limit as well. Because you wouldn't like that, would you, Finn?
I would not like that. I would not like to be without my bag.
Yeah.
I want to have my bag with me. Yeah, no, it's absolutely doable, and I think, you know, it's not just us saying that it's doable. All the hundreds, maybe even thousands now of Evertrekkers that have been on that trip have managed it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a little bit like Roger Bannister, you know, breaking the 4-minute mile. Before he did that, it couldn't be done, and I think in the year after the 4-minute mile was run, about 20 people ran a mile in 4 minutes because he proved it could be done. So it's the same logic. It can be done. Analogy
of the week.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
I'm normally it's so nice having not to like stress to come up with this stuff. But yeah, he's absolutely right. It 100% can be done. So anybody that, you know, we do get a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissive of their concerns because I know what it's like when you feel like you need everything. There's also that if you've never done the trek before, it's easy for people who have been on the trek to tell you how easy it is to pack. But when you don't know, you don't know. You haven't got the knowledge of that experience behind you. You don't know, do I need this item or don't I? Because if I don't bring it, then I'm left without it. And if I need it, I'm devastated.
Yeah, and I think everyone's got that mentality of, you know, it's better to need it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly.
But actually, that 4 minute. I knew I was going to get 4-minute mile wrong. You know, Bri, is it 3-minute mile? I knew I was going to get it wrong. I almost didn't say it, and then I was like, I'm just going to go for it. Whatever the record was, I'm guessing it's 3 minutes, is it? Anyway,
I don't really know.
We don't know. We don't deal with running. We should ask the running Yeti actually. Jodie, if you know, pop that in there. How fast did Roger Bannister run the
4-minute mile
that broke all the records before it could be done? Anyway, I'm digressing.
I don't think I've ever got lower than 9.
I don't.
So for me, it's
a dream. It's a challenge.
Yeah, Marky B said it's a 4-minute mile.
Is it 4 minutes?
Yeah, I can do a 4-minute mile easily on my bike.
Now I'm really confused. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna shut up about the running analogies because it's not helping.
It would. Let's not get bogged down in whether it was 4 or 5 or 3 or 2. What we're saying is that once someone actually breaks the mold, everyone does it.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly that.
And you know, even like Nims, you know, before, you know, his Project Impossible or Project Possible.
Project Possible, yeah.
Everybody said it can't be done because the fastest time before that was like, you know, some years, and he wanted to do it in like 7 months, and then he did it, and now you're seeing 8,000ers be ticked off now at a rate of knots. Someone the other day became the first person to do all 14 twice.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a Sherpa, actually. I'll find out. I should really write this down.
I know. We should really prepare for these shows, shouldn't we?
Well, as we always say, we never let professionalism get in the way of a good show.
Absolutely not.
But,
which, if anyone joined us for the quiz, will have absolutely seen that in evidence, that we never let professionalism stand in the way.
It was after the watershed. And
there may have been some alcohol consumed.
Yeah, and I only gave away... I think 2 or 3 of the answers.
I think, well, actually, you gave away 2, I think, and then Andy gave away 1.
Andy gave away 1, but he nearly didn't give away and then corrected himself.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you to everyone that did take part in the quiz.
Yes, thank you. And for donations, we had some lovely donations from people who didn't join the quiz but still donated. So thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate that. And Brecon Mountain Rescue will really appreciate that as well. We're fundraising for the whole year for them, so there's a bit more going on, and we'll hopefully be able to give them a really nice juicy check at the end of this year. So thank you for contributing, guys. We really do appreciate it.
It is good, and because it's for charity, it's all for a good cause. So it doesn't matter if I gave away the answers.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
But yeah, and back to flights. Yeah, so the weight limit is, as I said, 15 kilos. Specifically for safety reasons with the flight. You've all heard the horror stories about the Lukla flight and the most dangerous airport in the world. Well, part of the reason they're trying to avoid that is by keeping the planes nice and safe. One of the other things that we always do say as well is, none of us feel particularly bad if we're a few kilos over and it's the airline that we're tucking up, But one of the things to consider is that if you load your body with a camera, loads of battery packs, sweets and all this stuff, and you're really heavy, and you intend on putting that stuff back in your duffel bag in Lukla, think of the porters' backs as well. We do look after them, and we do make sure that, they're not overloaded. Like you always see those famous pictures of, a porter carrying like a fridge or something, Our porters absolutely do not carry that. We think of their long-term health, as being vitally important. There's no point working them, to the point where their backs are destroyed by the time they're 30. That's not in our interest. So I always say, do take that into consideration as well. So if you are packing yourself with stuff, generally that's the stuff that I'll probably just keep in my day pack, so I'm carrying that. And being ruthless does mean that I don't need 2 fleeces. That'll save space. Do I need all those battery packs? Rich coming from me, but will 2 do? And
battery packs.
Don't need 3. I'll take 2. And as Bri said, all the sweets and stuff like that can be bought kind of as you go. You don't have to have a giant pack with you. And then there's one other which I wanted to talk about as well for you, because it's going to affect you personally, is the Machu Picchu weight limit,
which is 10K.
Which is 10K
for the point where you're on the trail. So obviously you have some time in Cusco to acclimatise. So not for that part. So what you can take from the UK is obviously more than 10K. But at the point where you start the trail and the porter is carrying your bag, 10K for Machu Picchu. So I am currently getting all my bits and pieces together, and I have got one of those nice little weigh scales that you can hang your bag on and weigh it. I say I've got it. I mean, you gave it to me, but
getting you out.
So I'm gonna do a test run and get all my stuff together once I've got all my little bits and pieces sorted, and give it a little weigh. And ideally, I'm going to try and get it under that 10K, and really try and be really, really ruthless and not take too much, just as Dave says, to kind of mean that the porters, pick my bag up and they're like, oh yeah, we like this one. This is a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a tough job being a porter, and carrying those heavy bags on your back day in, day out for 6 months of the year, it does have an effect on their health. And we want to limit that. We want to be the company that they want to work for, because they know it's easier on them. They get paid well, and that way, we'll get all the best porters as well. They'll be English speaking. They'll be supporting the guides. They'll be looking after you as if they're a guide, and that's the kind of people that we want to. And it's give and take. The more we look after them, the more they look after us.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important. But it is. I remember when we first said it, and I said to you, it's 10 kilos. I was like, what?
Yeah, and my initial reaction was,
that's not possible, Dave.
10K?
And I remember thinking, it's not a lot. But then the Machu Picchu trip, for those of you that are booked on it, is not as long as EBC.
It's shorter,
Yeah, it's much shorter than EBC.
The trekking days.
Generally speaking, you won't need as much cold weather gear as well, because although the temperature does get cold in the mornings and evenings, it's not like Himalayan cold. So you can carry lighter gear and stuff like that, and it all kind of works out. But that's kind of our little tips and things, for looking after the horses carried our kit in Peru. That's exactly right. It's not just the human porters as well, it's animals as well. In Morocco, they call them muleteers.
Muleteers.
Yeah, muleteers, which is a great name, isn't it?
I like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just on the, I always like to throw a charity link in here. There's a fabulous charity if people enjoy horses and donkeys, who doesn't love a donkey? The Brook is a fabulous charity which works all over the globe internationally, looking after horses and donkeys that are often used as beasts of burden in other countries, and can end up in sort of quite bad conditions. So check out the Brook. That's my little top tip there.
You got to look after them.
You got to look after the donkeys and the horses. I did just spot, sorry to interrupt Dave, but I did just spot somebody saying that there might be a different comment thread going on for this chat. We're not quite sure what's going on the live today with the streaming, but someone said there's comments being put on a different thread. So not sure what's going on with that, guys, to be honest. But just be aware of that. Jody may not be able to see comments if they're not on this thread. So if you don't get replied to, that could be what it is. Or if we don't read out your comment, that could be what it is.
I'll speak to Andy later, and we'll find it for next Tuesday. We'll figure it out. I think I've got an idea why it's happening. But look, we're live. I don't want to even touch the laptop right now.
We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
So we do like to look after not just the people but the animals. Like in Morocco, we use the muleteers and those guys as well. And again, we're not the company that wants people to kind of go out on a trip and you see these horror stories of these poor overworked animals, you know, like that one particular advert when he's loaded with bricks. It's heartbreaking. We don't want that. The animals need to be kept healthy, and the guys that the muleteers, the guys that run the animals, they really look after them. And again, we don't want to overload them. Much like the people, we're not in the interest of cruelty and, you know, forcing, you know, animals or people to carry more.
We're on a different thread.
I'm on a different thread. Can't see the comments.
And we can only see you as Facebook user, whoever you are. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the comment threads. I'm trying to think if there's another way for people to get their comments through to us.
I think there's two threads going. I think one is the High Altitude Evertrackers group and one is the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe if you jump onto the Evertrack page.
The one that you're not on, basically.
Yeah, the one that you're not on. So if you're on the High Altitude group, go to the Evertrack one or vice versa.
If you're on the Evertrack one, go to the High Altitude one.
I suspect that's what's happened. But we'll persevere, Facebook user. Yeah.
Bringing it back, someone has asked about Kili. What's the weight limit and how does it work for Kili?
Same thing as in Nepal.
This is the Facebook group. Okay, yeah. So if you're on High Altitude Evertrackers, you need to jump over to the Facebook group.
I mean, I was thinking about trying to end the feed there.
Oh, you could do.
But I don't. Okay, I might try. Shall I do it?
Should we try something? We're going to try something,
I'm going to try something, okay? And I apologise if that...
If we disappear, we'll be back.
If that ruins everything. There we are. I think I may have closed the one feed now, so we're just live on the Evertrack page.
So if you've lost us,
you
won't see me saying this.
Yeah. They'll figure it out, though. They'll find it. So yeah, thanks for the perseverance, guys. But yeah, so with Kilimanjaro, it's 15 kgs again. And that's for the porters as well. So our team over there, we have... oh, hi, Diane. I can see Diane now.
Oh, hi, Diane. I think Diane and Jerome were stuck on the other thread.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
How did I know it would be Jerome? I'm surprised Diane has messed it up, but Jerome, I'm not surprised with.
I don't think we can blame them, to be fair.
Do you know what? I saw on Facebook the other day that picture of Jerome sliding down the bank. Never fails to make me smile. But yeah, so it's 15 kgs as well. The really good thing is that in the hotel in Tanzania, there is like one of those weighing scales that you can hang your bag on and check it. If it is overweight, you know, you can always talk to the guides. They're the ones with the ultimate experience that know what you need to bring and what you don't need to bring. So at any point that you're unsure, you can always say, listen, I'm like X a number of kilos over. This is what I've got. Can you give me some advice?
Yeah,
and the
that's
guides,
a great tip.
Yeah, and the guides will say there and say, you know,
you won't need two. You won't need two of those.
Yeah.
Or you won't need
4 kilos of Haribo might be a bit excessive.
I am planning on taking at least 4 kilos of Haribo.
Yeah, well, me too. But you've got to sacrifice something else. You know, so like, yeah, I remember one person. Actually, it was Kate Ramsey who we had on the live a few weeks back. She was a competition winner, and I was lucky enough to trek to Everest Base Camp with her. And at one point, we're on our way up to Dingboche, and those of you that have done the trek will know that it's a little bit of a steep climb, just as you get up to the stupa. And she's carrying this bag, and I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, like, that looks like a heavy bag. And she puts it down, and then as she put it down, like a small avalanche, you know, happened. And I remember looking at her, and I'm saying, like, what is going on there? And she was like, oh, it's just heavy. I was like, how heavy is it? And I picked it up. I could not believe what she was carrying. It must have been around 9 kilos of just, you know, and I was like, what is in here? And I remember opening it up, and there was like 2 Kenton Cool books because he was on the trail. She wanted to get his autograph, and I was like, right, okay. Right, sorry, Kenton, but we don't need them. And there was like
just take a slip of paper and get him to sign that.
Like spare set of boots. It was, I don't know. It was just loads of stuff.
Kitchen sink.
Yeah. So the next day we were like, okay, we're gonna have to make some tough calls here.
Yeah.
The Kenton Cool books are gonna have to be packed away outside of your day pack.
Left in a tea house, I would have suggested. For books.
Exactly. But yeah, so it is about that, and you know, everyone wants to take something that, you know, audiobooks, they're really good. You know, rather than taking a reading book. There's lots of little ways you can take it. I knew one guy that took a picture of every page of a magazine.
Wow.
To watch it on his phone. Read it on his phone, sorry.
Wow.
It's too much,
I don't know what to say about that, to be honest.
He was a guy I met over there.
It's either genius
or
something else.
Yeah.
It's one end of a scale.
Exactly.
I'm not sure which end.
We've got loads of questions on this one, so we knew this would be popular. So should we dive in?
Let's dive in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
You got them there?
yeah, so I've got them on the
nice.
screen. So
Sorry, pop them.
Put them there. There we go. So first question we've got is from Jerry. Hi Dave, doing Kili in January 2023. What are the weight limits on that trek, and can I take / use my black Evertrek bag from my last EBC trek? So Jerry, awesome. The first thing is that hang on a minute, Jerry. Oh, that's Jerry from the training weekend who I met.
I don't know.
Probably is, because he was going to do Kili.
Yeah.
Or anyway, Jerry, if it is, yes, you can 100% use the Evertrek duffel bag. So generally speaking, with Kilimanjaro, you will travel to Tanzania with just your normal suitcase and pack down your duffel bag in there. If you don't have a duffel bag, you can rent one from our team in Tanzania. But by all means, if you do have your own, then bring it with you. And the Evertrek duffel bag, why not? It's the best duffel bag in the world.
Absolutely. And the weight limit is 15
kgs, yeah, for the trek itself. So yeah, Samantha Rice said she sat listening on my horse.
That's fun. So we'd like to see a picture of that, Sam. If you can take a selfie and get the horse in. I don't know how easy that is. Probably not very, I imagine, unless you've got incredibly long arms. But or just you on the horse. We'd like to see that. Yeah. Emily Cuthilla said, "What did I miss? Everything. Everything. Yeah, everything.
So next one. This is the one. Is a strange question. So Samantha said, "Hi, not on your topic today, but will my AirPods work? AirPods work, or should I get plug-in ones?"
So it's the Bluetooth, I guess she's questioning. Will the Bluetooth still work? But there's no reason why it wouldn't.
No, it's fine as long as your phone's got battery. But then if it doesn't, then the cable won't work either. So
I suppose you just need to consider that you will. Depending on the pods that you've got, I don't know how long they hold the charge. You might need to charge those up as well as charging your phone up. But that shouldn't be a problem, really. No, it should be fine. Yeah. No, I take my AirPods with me on every trek because the battery lasts quite a while. Doesn't take much to charge, and shouldn't have any problem with that at all. But no, keep them coming. Next one. Dowie says, I've got 660 days to go. Can I pack now? Yeah, we would actually recommend that you start packing today. Yeah, and then weigh it and maybe take one item out every month before. until you reach the required weight. Because the problem is when you pack sort of 600 odd days in advance is that you are bound to get more things. Yeah, between now and then. You've got a lot of time for sales to tempt you between now and then, haven't you? But you'd be surprised how quickly that time goes. It won't be long, and you'll actually be like, crikey, I'm going really soon. So yeah, exactly. So Charlene O'Brien has asked, what's the weight limit for taking liquids on a flight? That's a good question. That's a really good question. Generally speaking, 0. So with the Lukla flight, they do ask you to empty all the water that you're carrying. So you won't. It's only a short flight though, and also each liter of water is a kilo of weight. So as that's weighed accumulatively, you don't want any water on you because it'll just push you over the limit. So 0 is the answer to that one. Excellent. Who's next now? Tom. Tom just asking if it will be uploaded in YouTube. It absolutely will. Yeah, always goes up onto YouTube. Probably, I think it normally takes a couple of days, doesn't it, for our tech team to get it uploaded. But it will be there. It'll definitely be up on YouTube. Yeah, 100%. Darren Chadwell, bit confused about the duffel bag you provide for EBC. When do we get this? So you'll get that when you arrive in Kathmandu. I think that was the cause of Baggate. I think Shona could probably remind us all. But we don't send it out to you in the UK prior to your trek for a couple of reasons. One, we have so many people going that it would be a full-time job for someone back and forth to the post office posting bags. Secondly, we don't hold the stock here in the UK because they're not made in the UK. We like all of our treks to sort of benefit the local community. So all of the drivers, the hotels, the guides, the porters, the chefs, everything is all local. And that's including the people that manufacture and make those duffel bags for us. So they're made in Kathmandu and given out to everybody when you arrive and you have your briefing, you'll get it. And then you're free to take it home. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next question we've got is Marie. What size bag did you use for the 4-day trip? So I think that would be tube cal. Currently looking, but not sure what size to buy. Doing Kili in 2 years, so I don't really want to buy different ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So looking to get a bag that would be suitable for both tube cal 4-day weekender, I'm assuming, and Kili.
Yeah. So to be honest, I'd probably buy just a regular duffel bag that's good enough for Kili, and then just not fill it so much for the 4-day.
You need it full.
I've used the same duffel bag for EBC Kili that I did on the 4-day tube cal one. The great thing about those duffel bags is if they're not completely chock full, they do compress down. And it's a weight issue, not so much a size issue. You won't be carrying the duffel bag; it'll be strapped down and carried by the porter or the mules. So yeah, size isn't an issue. So 80 to 100 litre duffel bag would be more than adequate for the trips that you're looking at. And when you go on the 4-day one, just don't fill it as much. It's exactly what I did. The 4-day one, you really don't need much at all, honestly. No. I pretty much had, I think, 1 pair of trekking trousers, 1 jacket, 2 base layers.
One outfit, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The most space that was taken up is my sleeping bag, which is always the most bulky item. So it's always that's the most awkward thing. But the good thing about a sleeping bag is that with enough brute force and ignorance, you can make it smaller and push things into it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, hopefully that's also
kind of a follow-up question there from Darren is, how do I get my stuff to Kathmandu, and what do I do with the bag I bring? So Darren was asking about when you get the bag. So yeah, you just take your stuff to Kathmandu in whatever you want to take it in. So that could be a normal suitcase. It could be you could use your duffel bag if you wanted to, but you want to take it in something really that will allow you to leave a few bits and pieces in Kathmandu. So if you take a normal kind of holiday suitcase, then when you get to Kathmandu, you can transfer the stuff you need for the trek into your Evertrek duffel bag and leave whatever you don't need on the trail in your suitcase securely in the hotel in Kathmandu, and it will be waiting for you then when you get back. So obviously people like to leave perhaps the clothes they were traveling in when they came over from the UK. Maybe a nice fresh change of clothes when you get back to Kathmandu after your trek. You might want to, have a nice fresh pair of clothes. Any bits and pieces that you're not going to need. You might have brought, a book for the flight or something. Leave that in the hotel in Kathmandu, and you just take your duffel bag with your trekking gear on the trail.
Yeah, awesome. AJ Vitamus says, is there an Evertrek group where people can sell old trekking gear? Would love to save money and get some stuff secondhand where possible. So we do have the High Altitude Evertrekkers group.
Yeah.
It's not strictly a buying and selling group, but if you did put up there that you were looking for a pair of boots, does anyone have any and stuff like that? I'm pretty sure that the guys would oblige. Other than that, there are quite a lot of buying and selling pages and things like that you can sort of peruse. I'm usually on there quite regularly looking for sort of bargains and stuff like that. But yeah, by all means, post that question in the High Altitude Evertrekkers group. I'm sure the guys will be happy to help.
Yeah.
David Cliff says, is there a list for EBC regarding clothing to get to 15k or kg or below? So again, not a specific list that will guarantee you under 15 kgs. We have like a complete trekking list, which is everything that you need. So you can check that out. Then it's about your personal needs as well, things that you want to take with you, things that you don't. So generally my packing process is that I'll get my duffel bag completely empty. I'll completely fill it with everything that I want to bring, then weigh it. If it's 15 or below, great. If it's not, then I'll have a look at it and start being ruthless about things that I think, okay, what can I do without? What can I perhaps get when I'm out there? That type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's generally the process you have to follow. It's not an exact science. It is a lot of sort of winging it, I guess is the correct word. But but being a little bit selective, a little bit ruthless about things, and then working your way down to that weight limit. Some people are lucky. Some people just weigh their bag, 14 kilos, great, off I go.
Yeah.
And always remember that when you weigh your bag, take out the things that you're likely to be wearing on that day. So your hiking boots, socks, trousers, base layer, jacket, camera will be around your neck, maybe a couple of battery packs in your pocket. Then weigh the stuff. Don't weigh everything and stand there, in your pajamas.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it does. I don't know why I've assumed he's in his pajamas when he's doing this.
Because everyone's in their pajamas when they're in the house, obviously. Next question was from, that's just moved. Alicia Humphreys, but I think it was a little bit of a duplicate, so it was asking what happens for Killy. So hopefully we have answered that for you guys now. There we go. And then Charlene again, am I allowed to take treats for the donkeys? That's a good question, actually.
I mean, what, like carrots and apples and things?
I don't know.
I don't think...
Polos? Donkeys like them. Donkeys love a polo, yeah, and horses.
I guess. I mean, I don't really know, because you don't see them very often. They're generally ahead of you, you know, so they generally go off early in the morning when you're eating breakfast. Right. Pack your bag, and then you might see, I guess you could.
You probably could.
You know,
my
carrots weigh a bit.
Yeah, carrots weigh a bit. My advice would be to, it would be the same as like in the UK, really. If you're looking to give a treat to any animal, really, a dog or a donkey or a horse, like just check with the person. So check with the muleteer, check with the person that you want to give the treat to the animal, and just make sure that that's okay. But I'm sure that like a little cheeky polo wouldn't go amiss.
No, generally not.
I mean, that would be fine.
Even the guides might appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. If you've got a pack of polos, you're probably going to be sharing them out, aren't you?
Yeah.
Other minted sweets are available.
Available, of course. No, we're not the BBC.
We don't have to do that.
No.
Perrier's the best.
I don't know how many times I have to drink Perrier on camera before I start getting free stuff.
I know, you've never got Perrier. It's no good.
So Gavin Tuck said
Daysack,
best choice for carry-on. I always do that. So my day rucksack, you know, it's a perfect size for a carry-on, fits all the stuff I need, and also takes the space out of my bag as well. So that's what I always do. Some people don't. Some people prefer like a more of a plane specific type thing. You know, one that opens up like that.
Yeah, and you can do that. You just have to remember then that then you are packing your day sack, so then your day sack needs to go into the rest of your luggage. There was an intercom question, but I think we've already answered that. Yeah. So something's come in via our website about the clothing list for EBC, so we've answered that.
Yeah, so Di Fizbark has said, you were commenting, you expect the porters have to carry more than one bag, generally speaking. So porters will mainly carry between 1 and 2 bags, depending on the weight of the individual bags. But generally, there'll be about 2 bags to a porter. But again, it all depends on the weight. So if one bag is really heavy and then there's another 2 bags that are light, then perhaps one will carry one. But we leave those guys to work that out. So generally speaking, you know, we know the weights, we know which heavy bags there are. Every morning you'll get ready, put your bag by your door, the porters will come and gather them all, tie them all together, and they'll work out their carrying regime and stuff like that. It's the only thing we have to do is make sure we stick to the weight limits, that's all.
Good question from Tracy then. So for Killy, the 15K, is that does that include the rucksack that she will be carrying? Because obviously there isn't that internal flight for the Killy trip.
Yeah.
So is 15K total, including duffel bag and rucksack?
Yeah, we weighed it all. Yeah.
So that's total.
Yeah.
Even though the guide isn't carrying the rucksack, you are still 15K total.
Yeah, 15K total, both combined. But generally speaking, your day pack doesn't really weigh that much, and there's not much there.
Normally a couple.
So the majority of the weight is inside the big duffel bag anyway. But when we weighed them both together when we were out doing my Killy trip. Again, because it's only 8 days trekking, it's not like EBC, which is 11. You know, so you don't. Again, with the only 8 days of trekking, you don't need as much stuff. Yeah. You know, so I found Killy very easy to get in the 15K limit. It wasn't a stress. It wasn't a stress at all with that one.
Nice.
It just seems to be that 11-day EBC is like the tipping point. It's more trickier for people that are like Gokyo, 3 Passes, Island Peak.
Slightly
longer trips. But then, you know, there's no way. So what I always say to people is, if you're on one of those longer trips and you want to bring more clothes, well, there's only a limit. So even if you brought 4 pairs of trousers on a sort of 19-day trip, all 4 trousers are going to be as dirty as each other after about a week anyway. So there's no real point in bringing that many.
No.
So you may as well just bring sort of like 2 pairs of trekking trousers, you know, and then maybe if you've got the space, like a warmer pair. Yeah. Then a lot of people will bring like leggings and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like merino wool long johns, which are just like you put them on, put your trekking trousers on, insulated pair of trousers for half the weight. So little things like that do make a little bit of a difference.
So a question on the other thread, the 5th, and I think this comes up again later as well. So the question is, the 15K includes the weight of the duffel bag, and yes, it does.
Yeah.
So you're going to weigh the whole thing together, including the bag,
Yeah.
and that's your 15k.
Yeah, exactly.
AJ Vitums, supporters carry the 15k, 3BC, new carry a Daypack of whatever. Yeah, absolutely. So for Machu Picchu, my goal is to make my day pack as light as possible, because I don't particularly enjoy carrying loads of weight. So yeah, your day pack is up to you what you put in it and how much you carry in it. But obviously you can't just offload that stuff into your duffel bags, because your duffel bag needs to stay within the limit as well. But yeah, whatever you feel comfortable carrying. So people take different size duffel bags. I think we normally recommend day sacks. We normally recommend between sort of 20, 25 litres, something like that, for a day pack.
I certainly wouldn't take any more than about 30 litre. You see the Osprey Talon, which is a 30 litre bag, which is very popular. Anything more than that, and you run the risk of overfilling it and carrying a heavy bag with stuff you don't need. I've used, it was a 26 litre backpack, of which 3 litres was the water bladder space. And so I had 23 litres of space, and that was more than enough. And I've done 2 EBC trips with that, and a Kili trip, because really all you need in there is, I usually get waterproof trousers, stuff them in, waterproof jacket, stuff it in, a couple of snacks in the side pockets, and then
gloves maybe.
Yeah, but on most days you probably won't even need those. And if I do, it'll be the liner pair. They weigh nothing and take up no space, and then that's pretty much it. So when you're hiking, you've got your water, you've got some snacks, and you've got some waterproof stuff to throw on. There's not really that much you need. Your phone will be in your pocket all day probably. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even fill up my water bladder to the max. I'll put probably, speak to the guide, how long before we stop for lunch? 2-3 hours. Okay, well, I'll put like 1.5 litres in.
Yeah.
And then I'll refill it. I'll refill at lunch and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like you, Fee. I don't want to carry a big heavy bag.
No, absolutely.
Exactly. And so the next one I spotted was Kevin Beavers. Any tips for fitting everything into your day sack? Your sleeping bag nearly fills it to the brim. Well, on our trips, you wouldn't put your sleeping bag in your day sack anyway. That would be in the duffel bag. If you're thinking more in terms of hiking in the UK, then you've only really got 2 choices. Buy a bigger pack, or do what I tend to do, and that's strap the sleeping bag to the outside of the bag. So, you've seen those multi-day hikers on the West Highland Way where they've got a tent and everything strapped to the outside of their bag and everything else in it. Generally speaking, I'll strap my sleeping bag to the outside of my bag if I've got to carry it. Or I've got a 70 litre rucksack, and that's more than enough to fit everything in. But that's really rarely used. That's for multi-day treks where I know I'm going to be camping and things like that, which I can't remember the last time I did. But generally speaking, on our trips, you won't be carrying a sleeping bag. It'll be in your duffel bag. Your day sack should just include the essentials that you need for that day.
Yeah.
Any waterproofs, a couple of snacks, some water, pretty much it.
Okay. So then we've got Gavin asking about flights, although I think this gets answered later on. Flying from Cardiff to Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro, never done transfer at airport. Is the baggage transferred automatically, or do we collect and recheck it in again? It should be just automatically.
Automatically, you won't see it. You'll check it in at Cardiff, and then fingers crossed the next time you see it will be in Kilimanjaro International Airport.
Yeah.
It all gets transferred for you. I've been so lucky, touch wood, that my bag's never gone on its own adventure. It's going to happen one day. But I dare say the majority of bags, despite some of the horror stories I saw recently in Heathrow, but that was due to I think no one there to load them. Was guaranteed. Fingers crossed. Not guaranteed, but fingers crossed they'll arrive there once you see them.
Nice.
Where was that one? So Phil Handley's next. You arrive in Kathmandu 2 days before and stay for a week after the trip starts and ends. Do we still provide airport transfers, or is it just the day the trip starts and ends? So it really does depend. If you're going to be planning on staying with us, so if you're arriving early and staying longer and you want to stay in our hotel, we can 100% make those reservations for you. You'll pay the hotel direct for the extra days, and then your transfers will be there for you. If you choose to go off and do your own thing, then usually it's your responsibility after the trip is ended to get back to the airport. largely because our transfers go to and from the same hotel.
Yeah.
And we, generally speaking, the hotel staff won't sort of drive all the way over there to get someone to take them somewhere else. But everywhere I've gone in the world, that if you do decide to go on and have a time on your own, those hotels will almost certainly provide it for you for a small cost.
Yeah, they'll be able to make the arrangements for you, certainly, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Should I read this out and then you can answer it? So the next question is from Zoe Beckley. Thinking of Everest or Everest via Gokyo Valley in 2025. So doing all our planning now. Which would be better out of those two, Everest or Everest via Gokyo? Never climbed a mountain outside the UK, but has done lots of walking in the Lake District, Peak District. Never climbed a mountain outside the UK, walking in the Lake District, or been to altitude above 2,500 meters, but will be in the Himalayas at 4,000 meters in 2024, but not hiking. So would Gokyo Valley be too intense as a first one, as that's the one she's kind of got a preference for. So it's a first time altitude trekking experience for someone who doesn't really trek in the UK.
Yeah. So
sum that up.
Right, here we go. So it's a common question. People want to go to Everest Base Camp and then they see the Gokyo or the 3 passes options and they wonder, is that for me? Am I fit enough? Am I biting off more than I can chew? So it's a legitimate concern. My belief is that anyone that can is fit enough and has the mind to successfully go to EBC and back could also do Gokyo. It's not a giant step ahead, although you do go to a much higher altitude and you go over some high passes like Chola, and you go up to Gokyo Ri as well. So those things are quite intense on those days and does, it's a little harder than perhaps some of the other days on the regular trek. It's not so far out of reach that someone who could do EBC could do Gokyo. So my belief is that if you have done some trekking or you're planning on doing some trekking, you've got, 3 years till 2025. I say that's more than enough time to just get in some training. You're not doing anything technical, so you don't have to go out and learn how to use crampons and ice axes. My advice would be do some long days in the mountains, like do some of the the bigger peaks, like the classic 3 peaks would be a good example. Ben Nevis is a pretty long, drawn out day up and back. That's good training. Skiddaw, Snowdon, Scaffold, all of those things are really kind of good training. But the best thing you can do is just get out regularly with a pack and do some form of hiking, even if it's just 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Get in some longer ones that perhaps go to 7 or 8 hours. And then 100%, if Gokyo is what gets you excited and that's your goal, book onto Gokyo and do that.
Yeah.
My reasoning is as well, because if there is any point on the Gokyo trip where you think, I can go on, I just can't do this bit, then you can always opt out, come back down with the assistant guide and meet up with the team afterwards and then just carry on. So some people we've certainly had where one day they just didn't feel quite right, or they were a bit exhausted going up Chola and they get halfway and decide I'd rather go back and go another way. Those types of things can be done. Chola, if you get halfway, you may as well go the rest of the way. But things like Gokyo Ri, for instance, which is on the acclimatization day at Gokyo, you go up to the top, see an amazing view of the Himalayas and come down. Some people get halfway up and come back down. So I would say if Gokyo is what really, is what you're looking at, then 100% do Gokyo. You'll do it. I know loads of people that have never been to altitude before, booked on Gokyo and absolutely loved it.
Okay, we need to power through the rest of these questions. Emily Cathill, are there weighing scales in the hotel to weigh a duffel? I don't know which trip Emily is on.
There is.
There is weighing scales.
There is weighing scales, yeah.
Wherever she's going.
Wherever you're going, yeah. So in Kathmandu there are some, in Gokyo there are some. There's some in Imlil in Morocco, so pretty much in all the treks there's always some. What I always do as well, and I've even borrowed it to Fee, is I've got a little luggage weighing scale I bought off Amazon.
You lent it to me.
Did I do the
I
wrong way?
I borrowed it.
Do you know
it's
my
a Welsh thing.
Do you know my nan used to shout at me about that? I don't know.
I've just outed myself as a pedant there, as
Yeah,
a grammar pedant.
No, it's fine because I need to learn. But yeah, so I've loaned Fee my weighing scale,
which you're now going to ask for back after this.
Live, which is like
I need that right back.
Yeah, it was £7 on Amazon. Little digital thing, little loop on it. You just put it under your luggage, lift it up.
Give it a way.
Get one of those. It's worth it. I use it not just on my big trips, but on my UK trips because I got hammered with hand luggage one time and I had to wear like about 3 items of clothing that I didn't plan on because I had them stuffed in my hand luggage. So now I use it for that and all sorts of stuff, and it's great. 100% get it.
And David Cliff's asked the same question really, but specific to Kathmandu, so hopefully we've answered that. Yes.
Yeah, no, there'll be scales in Kathmandu, there'll be scales in Tanzania, there'll be scales in Morocco, every trip. So I do the same thing again.
Yeah, well, actually, to be fair, Jerome has just asked us for a quick recap. So hi and welcome to
hi Jerome, welcome
to
today's Tuesday Tune In, Jerome.
We'll start
again. It's really hard to recap nearly an hour, but essentially, Jerome, 15 kg limits for flights, weighing scales everywhere. Look after your porters. You're a good guy.
Don't bring any rocks.
Don't bring any rocks.
Jerome is also saying that he's bringing a huge bag of educational stuff for the Sherpa school, which is fantastic. Thank you for that, Jerome. Can he hand it over at a loft? Yeah,
100%. So that type of generosity is always greatly appreciated. And generally speaking, if you hand it to Anuj or a member of Anuj's team over in Kathmandu, they'll make sure it goes to exactly where it goes. We don't always just bring our stuff just to the schools in the mountains, because there's a lot of like schools and underprivileged areas both in Kathmandu and in the other villages and stuff like that. So we do try and send it where it's needed the most.
Yeah.
The one thing which it's kind of maybe a little bit counterintuitive is that a lot of people, and I'm not saying don't do it, bring a lot of stuff to the kids in the mountains, but there's very few schools and lots of trekkers. So they do have an opportunity to get, lots of different things like that. However, there are maybe some schools in Kathmandu that don't benefit at all from any visitors, and really do have to try hard. So we do try and share out any gifts like that, which, like I said, I really appreciate anyone that takes the time. We do like to share it out as to wherever it's needed. And I think the best way to do that is to hand it over to Anuj and his team, and they'll make sure that it goes to where it's going to be most appreciated and valued. So anyway, Jerome, thank you very much. And anyone else thinking of doing stuff like that, really do appreciate it. One thing I thought I should say as well on the back of that is that anybody that has an old laptop that still works with a charger, has to have the charger, that's just sat in a wardrobe, maybe not being used, and maybe you want to sell it, but you know you're never going to get around to it. If you want to take it with you and hand it over to the team in Nepal, they will send it to children and young adults who are going through education, and where it could be it's a make or break deal. Those guys getting a free laptop and being able to use it. I know a couple of people did bring it over, and I've seen some photos of the guy that received it, and it's like it revolutionizes their education.
Appreciated, yeah.
I mean, imagine not having a laptop or smartphone, and then all of a sudden someone gives you a laptop and you've got access to the internet, and you can go to like a cafe, get free internet, and do all your research in there. It can be a game changer for these guys.
Yeah.
So if you do have one, unfortunately you can't send it to us. You have to bring it with you in your hand luggage. But as soon as if you were to do that and hand it to Anuj, I know that would be
absolutely
an awesome gift.
Awesome. Georgie Clark, end of September, beginning of October are waterproofs recommended. I don't know where he's going. Does it ring a bell? The name?
I think EBC.
Think EBC?
I used to know everyone by name, but now there's so many.
It's too many of them.
End of September, begin the waterproofs. So I can help you anyway. If it's EBC, I would say 100% bring some. If it's Kili, 100% bring some.
Machu Picchu?
Bring some. I think any of our trips has the potentiality for, a rain shower and stuff like that. Kilimanjaro has its own sort of microclimate. So you do get showers on the mountain. In the Andes, it can happen as well.
On my list.
Yeah. And in EBC, if you go in sort of end of September, beginning of October, the monsoon kind of ends in September, but sometimes perhaps it can, extend a little bit and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Someone has also said, do they take laptops in Tanzania? 100%. Yeah, 100%. Any gift like that is something that, you can hand over to our team and they'll make sure that it goes. There's a school right next door to the hotel where you can go and plant an avocado tree and meet the children and stuff like that. So if you speak to the guys there, the team, they'll be able to kind of help you out and bring that over there.
Emily Caphill, what's the best thing to do with your passport and valuables? I assume, should these stay with you in your day pack?
Generally speaking, I tend to keep mine in my day pack. So there's like a zipped area underneath like the top of the bag where I kind of put my valuables and stuff, and I just close it, and then it stays with me. My day pack when you're on a trek never really goes much further than by there.
Yeah.
In Tanzania, however, they do have some lock boxes, safety deposit boxes where you can put those. In Nepal, you can leave it with your hand luggage and lock it away. So if you would feel more comfortable locking it away, if you're worried you might lose it, then 100% you can do that with the hotels and things like that. Generally speaking, I keep mine on me just because I am the type of person that would forget where I've put it if it's not right in front of me. And I don't want to have the panic of thinking that I've left it in my bag, forgetting that I didn't, and then on the trip for the whole time I've got that.
Yeah. And then it's in the lockbox.
Yeah. But most people, perhaps more sane people would probably just lock it in the lockbox and then get it when they come back. But hopefully that answers your question as well.
Last question, I think. Tom Carroll.
Flying to Kiliwa, Qatar from Heathrow. First flight is with BA, although run by Qatar. Yeah, I've seen that. At Doha, do I need to get my bag to check in again? No.
You shouldn't need to.
No. So when you check in, your bag, you'll see it disappear, and you won't see it again until you get to Kathmandu.
Yeah.
They'll
organise that.
Kili, until you get to Tanzania.
Yeah.
And then you arrive, you go straight into the visa hall in Tanzania. Hopefully you've got your visa beforehand, otherwise you're going to be queuing for a while. Then you go through security, and then your bag should be there. Fingers crossed. Wow, that was a big one.
That was a lot of questions, guys. Yeah, a lot of questions.
Yeah, so hopefully we've managed to cover pretty much everything for you with regards to flying and bags and things like that. If you do have any other questions, don't hesitate to fire them in.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, every Tuesday tune in, although we like to anchor it in a subject, you can ask us about anything. So, if you didn't get your question in on this one, feel free to listen. If we haven't covered it, ask us on the next one.
Absolutely.
We're more than happy to answer it.
And next week, I think, is normal service resumed next week?
No, I think he's. No, I think I need to substitute.
So there's another special guest star.
Yeah, another special guest. Yeah.
Not going to be me next week.
Are you sure?
Well, we'll see, but no.
Yeah. Well, we'll
give someone else a turn.
Yeah. Well, I try.
I know.
But
they're camera shy.
Jodie's on the comments, and I said to her today, "Do you want to do it?" She's like, "She went, I don't know, Dave." And you know what she did? She tried to use flattery to get her way out of it. She went, "Oh, but Dave, you're so good at it." And I was like, "Oh, really? Am I?"
So good at it, especially when you do it on your own.
Yeah, to be honest, fly free, Dave.
Yeah. Unshackled by a partner.
Exactly. Jerome, that was a strange tune-in, but thanks as always. Strange?
I think the streams, I think he means, or maybe he means me, I don't know. But I think he means the whole streaming different comment sections.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, yeah.
Probably. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Anyway, awesome, guys.
Cheers,
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's not my mouse. And we'll see you again. Bye.
Bye.